What is going on, my YouTube family? Sergeant Graybeard with another Division 2 video. Today is Tuesday, March 9th, and as always, I hope this message finds you healthy and safe. In today's video, my friends, it is the weekly series where I go over the vendor resets for the week. We talk about a few things that you may want to focus on every Tuesday, and also get into some of the changes that have happened in the game. Now, if you happen to be new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Secondly, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of our gaming family. And if you happen to enjoy this or find it helpful at all, take a quick second and hit that like button. It really does help us out. So as I'm sure most of you know by now, the game announced that Season 5 is going to be a rerun of Season 1, and that actually begins today. So right now I want to take a moment, go over a few of the details, and some of the things players can look forward to that actually missed the first season. As you can see on the screen, my friends, the seasons have been completely reset. So regardless of where you were in the game, how many targets you took out, you are now at the point where you are starting at square one and now moving forward. The good thing is that the rewards will also be there for you as well. Now, as in previous seasons, a new target in the manhunt will become available every 3 weeks. And for you new players out there, that does not mean you only have 3 weeks to take out a target. You will have the entire season to do so. One thing I'd like to point out really quick, and again, this is for new and returning players, you can see with the first target, Neptune, that one of the rewards right now is double XP while this target is active. However, you only get double XP for the first 15 shade levels. After that, it turns off on its own. You can see that 1 week from now, the West Side League begins, and in 2 weeks, the global event Golden Bullet comes back, and for so many players, including myself, it was one of my favorite ones to play, and I cannot wait to dive back into that thing. Now, one more thing I'd like to point out really quick is the fact that the difference, I know in the past we've been able to, reset the season when we wanted. However, now all of the rewards that we earned before, we have the ability to earn again. And for so many players who missed the first season or missed out on certain things, now's your chance to get them. You can see at level 30 of the seasonal level, you get the SMG Dark Winter. I know a lot of people have been hunting for that. At level 90, you get Coyote's Mask. Again, that's something else a lot of people have been looking for. So now you have the guaranteed ability to finally be able to get that thing. Now, my friends, we will move on to a few friendly reminders you want to do every Tuesday. First of all, the weekly projects reset. This is the easiest way to get some exotic caches. You have the Summit project, you have the weekly shade requisition, and for those of you that have the ability, you also have the legendary project. Finally, my friends, before we move on to the vendor reset, today is also the day that I recommend you find the location of the Snitch. Now, for those of you that may not know, talking to the Snitch gains you access to the gunrunner Cassie Mendoza, who becomes available every Wednesday. We all know that the Snitch can pop up on different areas of the map. However, for me, this spot in the Federal Triangle is where I go every week. This is where I find him on a weekly basis. If you get there and he's not there, I suggest resetting your control points and trying again. Once you speak with the Snitch, you will then see on the screen a countdown on when Cassie Mendoza arrives and where she's going to be located. And as I said previously, on days where she has good stuff, I'll do a dedicated video, so definitely look out for that. Having said all of that, my friends, let's now get into the weekly vendor reset. Most of you know I kind of rip through this stuff. However, I strongly recommend take your time, look through each item, because you're typically going to find something that can help out your inventory or your builds. As always, we are starting off in the White House vendor. We have the Pyromaniac AR. It's a really good gun, a really decent roll here. You're obviously going to max out one of those stats. We had an SMG, another AR, handgun, backpack, body armor. Nothing else really to speak of, mods and skill attachments. Now let's go to the clan vendor. And as we roll up, let's see what we have. Starting off with the named Hannah U backpack, Force Multiplier. If you do not have this thing, definitely buy it. It is by far one of the most effective bags in the game in regards to skill builds, and that's because of the Talent Perfect Combined Arms. Moving on, we have some Striker's Gloves. Let's see what the roll is. Pretty decent there. You'd want to re-roll that bottom stat. We have a Hunter's Fury bag. Not that great there. Some Hunter's Fury gloves. Next, we have the Honey Badger AR. I've been looking for this for a while. It's a pretty decent roll, so I would recommend picking this one up. And of course, keep in mind, all of these items, it's all relative. So if you have it, you're obviously not going to buy it. But again, always look at those stats. This is actually a really nice SMG real quick. But going back to the stats, you always want to make sure you're looking at things that can improve your recalibration library, whether you have the weapon or not. Continuing on, we had a really nice marksman rifle there, really nice mask as well. Got some okay gloves, okay face mask, mods. Oh, here we go. Definitely buy this. The reason why, like for me, I've had the hardest time finding mods with protection from elites. And for those of you that have been struggling with legendary content, whether it's solo in a group, those mods will save your tail sometimes. Like, it really comes in handy. So when you see those and it's pretty decent, I'd say anything 11% or higher, you definitely want to pick up. Now moving on to the campus, let's see what we have as we roll up. Starting off with the Forge holster. If you do not have this thing, buy it. It is one of the most effective holsters in regards to shield builds. You can see it gives you that 50% shield health bonus that really helps out. Let's see what we have next. What do we have? A marksman rifle. So roll. Next we have an LMG. Pretty decent there as well. Underneath that, there's a mask. Not that great. Not that great holster. Mods and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to the theater. Let's see what we have as we roll up, starting off with contractor's gloves. I definitely recommend picking these up if you don't have them. There were some better ones, I think, last week, but again, if you missed them, grab them now. Moving on, we have a pretty mediocre shotgun there. Same thing with that gun. Not so great on the gloves, not so great on the knee pads, mods and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to the first Dark Zone West. As we roll up to the first Dark Zone, I actually want to mention something which I failed to mention in the video itself last week, is that most of you know I don't typically farm in the Dark Zone that often just because of all the steps it takes to actually get the gear that I'm looking for. However, when I do find things that are Dark Zone exclusive or, exclusive to Conflict, things like that, I will make that effort into going into the DZ, and I wanted to make sure I reminded you that in order to get these Dark Zone credit or resources as they're called, you need to get items in the Dark Zone, break them down, and then extract those resources. And as I'm sure you've heard me say in previous videos, I want to make sure that anything I look to buy, like here's a perfect example, the rail splitter. I've been trying to get this forever, so I will definitely be going in the Dark Zone this week, breaking down items, extracting those resources so I can actually buy this thing. And what I've found is a lot of gamers out there who farm for specific things in Dark Zone or Conflict, and you haven't been able to get them to drop, you always want to make sure you check these vendors on a weekly basis, because sometimes the items you've been looking for a while are on sale and you want to get them when you can. Nothing else in my opinion to really speak of here. Again, I'm looking for just Dark Zone exclusives when I'm shopping, because pretty much everything else you can get in the open world, and that in my opinion is a much easier process to get through. By the way, my friends, that last Dark Zone was Dark Zone South. Now we're making our way to Dark Zone East. We have the Night Watcher mask. Definitely something you want to pick up if you don't have it as yet. Below that, we have a marksman rifle, LMG, mask, not that great. Holster, definitely not that great. Another mask, another holster, pretty decent here, but again, you can get that in the open world. Then we have some mod and skill attachments. Now let's make our way to New York. And as we make our way to New York to the final two vendors, I want to once again remind you, and this is for new players, people just returning, is really take your time when you're doing this, because you want to look for anything that can help out your recalibration library. With that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this up. As always, I want to remind you, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Most of you know by now that one of my main goals here is to try to help you out in any way I can. I also want to take a moment and thank you all for your continued support. This channel is growing at such a rapid rate. I mean, it seems like it was yesterday we hit 10,000, which is incredible. We're over 11,000 now, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you've given me. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, as always, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.